and agriculture will flower. But still, the same number of people cannot be dependent on agriculture. So we have to find, they will go into services, they will go into manufacturing, they will go into infrastructure. So that will happen. But we can also improve the productivity and the performance of the agricultural sector if we have a clear strategy and very high quality implementation, dedicated implementation of that. We must manage ourselves well. Today we talk about poverty, 600 million, 700 million people below $1, $2 a day. It's really tragic. But everybody is responsible for poverty in the country. But who's accountable finally? Should we have some team, a national task force or some group who are very strong on management, who can monitor what each ministry or each state government is doing in relation to poverty and make sure that the work gets done and there's no leakage, not this business of 15 paisa goes actually and 85 paisa disappears. So I think we need to address this issue in a different way, managerially. And we can use technology for this. We should get IT involved. We have to do this thing in a different way. We will make a change. Technology will help us to make a change. Even villagers have got cell phones today. They are watching television today. So let us use these new aids to deal with poverty issues and agricultural production issues.
We come to that issue which you mentioned about implementation, but just we are mentioning about various controls by which agriculture is tied down. Normally, we are very proud that Economic Times will carry it on the front page that A company has made 5,000 crores profit, B company has made 7,000 crores profit, and these figures are rising every day. So everybody welcomes when the profit rises of a private industrial company. But agriculture, when the prices go up, that means agriculture profit is likely to go up. People always say climate down.
That's right.
So how can agriculture really survive? The farmer if farmer is not going to benefit at all, even in one season, because always is left to the vagaries of monsoon. So one season the market is going up and he should benefit. Why would not allow the farmers to benefit?
He must benefit. I think there should be no two ways about it. We have to see that the farmer gets a better income, a better earning and all that. But he can also get a better earning from the better ecosystem around him, because he is losing so much of what he makes. It's being wasted. It's not getting to, you make an apples in Himachal or peaches there, it doesn't get to the market. So he's losing that.
And if he gets it to the market and he gets better price,
and
in fact what he lost otherwise would get it.
Why can't we have small aircraft? We don't need jets and all that. Small aircraft which are going to land in district headquarters, pick up the produce from the marketplace, and that aircraft or helicopter will reach it to the main center within 1 hour.
That's it.
Why can't we do that?
So the mortality goes down.
Us from doing it. If we have that transport infrastructure taken care of, the farmer will benefit. He'll get money. So he's losing so much.
And that's the role that you think private sector can play.
It can play.
You've been highlighting for a long time the importance of implementation. You also said that this is one of the reasons why China has been able to do so well and we have been lagging behind. So, basically this is also part of our delivery mechanism improvement that we often talk about, but have done nothing really in terms of government's priority. So how do you think, we should try to bring this at the top of the agenda, implementation abilities of the country, as a society, as a government?
You see, there are different parts of the country, different parts of society. There is government, there's industry, there's NGOs. Let's take these three parts of society. NGOs are excellent at the grassroots level. They do very good work and they are in touch with the local people or whichever area. They may be working in health area or education area or rural extension area. They are 90% of NGOs are excellent. We must reinforce them. There's a National Foundation of India, which is a kind of supporting organization for NGOs. We should reinforce and strengthen the National Foundation of India to strengthen the NGOs, so that they can, because they are a very good delivery system at the grassroots. Why don't we use them? Don't have to only partner with industry. You partner with NGOs also. Second is the industry. Industry's strength is what? It is implementation. It is management. It is getting things done. It's not only, how do you make money? You make it because you get the thing done. You make a product, you make the furniture, or whatever you do it to quality, and today there's competition. So those old days of protection are gone. The industry has to make it really well to be able to compete, because it's competing with the best in the world. Government has a different role. It's conceptual, planning, strategy, thinking, policies. I think government should use the NGOs and industry for implementation. Don't try to be everything. Your government need not be the best implementers, but government can use other parts of society for implementation.
So this is a very different thinking. You are talking about even involving NGOs for implementing some of the government programs, and also in terms of implementing some of these.
We have wonderful NGOs in the country, wonderful people who are socially so committed and so honest, that we should energize, give them more resources, trust them. Look, if you don't trust people, you're not going to make it.
That's right.
If you trust people, they will do so much for you. If you trust a person, he will respond to you.
Yeah.
If you mistrust, you'll never benefit from mistrust. Yeah. So the system has to change. Yeah. We must go to a trust-based system.
I think that's something, a paradigm shift of thinking that has to come in. You were mentioning earlier about 600 million new people will come into as workers, as practitioners of economic forces. Now, it's not going to happen just like that unless we train them.
Yeah.
We offer them skills which are required for this new economy for them to be players of this new economy. So you think our focus should be now in terms of vocational education more than just formal education?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think that's something you think we are missing as another priority?
Yeah, we are missing it in different ways. First of all, we must bring vocational education into the school level.
Yeah.
From class 8 or so, it must start. That's number one. So the Human Resources Development Ministry, the state governments, because education is concurrent, must see to that happening. Second is the entire ITIs which we have were all set up by government.
Yeah.
Very good. Their concept was very good. But if you look around, most of them are now outdated equipment, inadequate number of teachers. Maybe the trainers and teachers have also not had the benefit of upgrading their knowledge and modernizing themselves. So industry is there. Industry is a user of people from the public sector and private sector industry. They are ready to come. They are ready to partner. There are still conditions.
Yeah.
It is being said, come. CII itself now has got into 178 ITIs, and we have joint management committees, 178 ITIs. We are willing to do 1,000 in this country, no problem. Our companies are coming forward, managers are coming forward to serve on the committees and all that. But give more freedom, give more trust. I think if this condition is there, that condition is there, if you don't give autonomy to people, it will not work. So that is still the missing link. Opening has been done. Now the final opening is, allow the industry to run the ITIs in their own interest and in the national interest. Both are converge here. And then we must set up new ones. We have just negotiated with Singapore government. We went to Singapore. They have the world's best industrial training institute in Singapore. The world's best. You have to see in 5 disciplines: construction, healthcare, and 3 others. We are taking that model and we are bringing it to India. We are going to set up a Singapore type of world-class training center here. Industry will do it, CII will do it with Singapore collaboration. It will be a role model. It will create a vibration in the country of what is possible. So from a small country like Singapore, we can learn how to do these things. And I think this is again, we can solve this problem. We can train our young people. It's a challenge, but we can do it. We can use distance education, we can use IT and many other things. Not a problem. And we are providing skills training in some villages in Kashmir, in a district in Kashmir. Oh. Do you know what the women there want to do? They want to be hairdressers and beauticians.
In Kashmir Valley?
So we asked them, but there are no hairdressing salons and all that. How will you earn? They said, no, we'll go to the homes of the women because they want this service. And we are doing that. So there is a demand for training. There is a supply side also is not a problem. We can do it. And I think you will see next 3 to 5 years a big transformation in the whole skills development area in this country.
Oh. And tell me, skill development is of course
exciting things are happening in India.
Yeah, I know. But tell me, the skill development is just one part of education. You think our education policy itself needs an overhaul in terms of making sure that more and more players can come and play a role? Because, you know, as we have seen now in Uttar Pradesh, there's a study made by an organization which said that even the poorest of the farmer wants to send his child not to the government school because there are no teachers, but to a private school, which is run, private means not a private corporate school. It is run by some private person.
That's right,
So you think there is a role for private sector education?
We have to multiply. We have to multiply capacity to take care of 1 billion people. So private sector has got to come in to add to that capacity, and we must allow them to come. And you know, the people are very, very, very clever. If they see their child is not getting good education, if there's competition, they'll go to another school. So that's the pressure on the school to perform. You can't only do it as a business and make money. You have to deliver quality. So now there are companies who are setting up schools in the villages of Punjab or schools in villages of Bihar and all. It will be very good. It will be add to the capacity. Plus we must help with training of the government schools teachers. We must help them to improve. We must give them more money so that teaching as a profession is more attractive. So multiple things need to be done.
But you know, one is to find out the quality of education and the final product is of course the parent of the child is going to determine and he'll choose it. But the government also will have to have a role to make sure that private sector doesn't hoodwink the people. So do you think we need to really strengthen the regulation system?
No, we must have an independent regulator.
And also to really look at the quality?
No, absolutely. We must have state level regulators, national regulator for education. They must monitor standards and they must see to it that things are done properly. And any misuse and abuse must be, you come down heavily.
I know we like to continue with this, but probably we're running out of time. But just finally, Dr. Das, how do you spend your time now as a chief mentor? Because you're not running CI on an ongoing basis, on a day-to-day basis. How do you spend your time? What are your other preoccupations?
I am trying to build international relationships at a non-government level with countries like Japan, Singapore, USA, China and all. I think that's very important because from 1947 to 1991, more or less we were not engaged with the world. So the world did not know us. We need to build better understanding of India. We need to project India. So I spend a fair amount of time in communicating about India to others and listening to others about India. And from time to time we have involved you in those strategic dialogues and those relationship building. And I think that's good for India. It will bring India to the center stage of the world.
So just not in the city government, but outside the government.
So
I really wish you all the best for these endeavors.
Thank you.
Maybe we would have loved to talk to you longer, but the time is running out. Thanks for joining us, and I'm sure you will meet again to talk about these issues and talk to our audience once again. Thank you very much for this. This was Dr. Tarun Das who was talking to us about the programs. In fact, he talked about a canvas that each one of us should try to put before us. The bigger the canvas, we can paint a bigger picture. Maybe some of you will be motivated to really paint different picture of our country as inspiration talking to Dr. Tarun Das. So thank you very much for joining this program. This is Suresh Prabhu bidding you goodbye. We'll see you next week again in another edition of Top Shot. Thank you. Goodbye.